Hi, this is Thea, and you're listening to Girls in Gaming, the podcast that dives into how girls and women experience, develop, and expand the world of gaming. Join me each week as we explore different topics around the female experiences in the world of gaming.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Girls in Gaming. It's me, Thea, and today we're going to be looking at one of the pioneering female game developers from the 1980s, Brenda Romero. Today I really wanted to start our journey looking into the roles of women in gaming, specifically female devs, by looking at one of the very first female pioneers for gaming. So Brenda Romero began her journey in the world of video games in the early 80s. So if you think back, some of you may not be born in the 80s. I was a 90s baby, but played every game humanly possible from the very creation of games. And 80s games hold a special place in my heart, particularly the RPGs that were created around that time. And my husband is an 80s baby, so for him, this is what he grew up playing as well. So she really broke into this industry when it was still in its infancy. And her career kick-started with a bang as she found herself working on one of the most iconic and influential role-playing game series of all time. So hands up if you've heard the Wizardry series. If you're a bit of a D&D nerd like myself and my husband, this is like the grandfather of all role-playing RPGs, D&D-esque series of all times. Like if you haven't played this, you should definitely give it a go. The popular series of role-playing games captured imaginations of gamers and laid the foundation for current RPGs and what they would become now. So you would have heard my first episode where we talked about Baldur's Gate. That would not be possible without the creativity and innovation of people like Brenda Romero. Her contributions to the series, particularly in game design and narrative development, has gained lots of recognition and respect within the industry. But that was really just the start. Because between the 80s and 90s, while she continued her work on the Wizard series and other projects, she also co-founded Surtech Software, where her work and contributions to the success of series with Surtech Software really impacted and changed the pathway for role-playing game genres. In the 90s, Brenda co-founded VR1 Entertainment, a game dev studio that allowed her to further explore her passions for creating unique and engaging gaming experiences. Her reputation to continue to grow, she became a respectful figure in the industry, which isn't an easy feat, because if we think back to the 1980s, and this isn't just game development or design or coding, just generally, that glass ceiling was exponentially harder to break through, and things like coding and game development were male-dominated industries. Not just that they were male-dominated industries, but I often think back to that time where games were not considered to be almost like literary masterpieces like we might consider them now, right? So it was a huge risk for her as a woman to go into a male-dominated industry, but also to go into a career that often wasn't taken as seriously as it is now. So moving on from just the work that she's done as a dev, I think it's important to also recognize her role as a dedicated advocate who pushes for inclusivity and diversity and positive changes in the gaming industry itself. So she had her experiences in the 80s and the 90s as she really started to build up her own reputation within the industry. But by the early 2000s to 2010, that was when she really started to extend her role on the board of the International Game Developers Association, also known as the IGDA. And that's where she found a platform to be able to express that need for diversity and inclusivity in gaming. She also said, that the inclusivity and diversity in gaming wasn't just about allowing more people into the industry out of fairness, but when we include more perspectives in game development, we create a richer and more meaningful experience for its players. Everybody has a story, and everyone should be able to tell it. Moving on from that, in the early 2010s, Brenda co-founded Loot Drop, a game development studio. She also co-founded Romero Games, a development company with her husband, John Romero, and has been involved in various gaming projects through those studios, although to date she hasn't actively been involved in any major AAA titles. Though I think it's unfair to define someone's career and its success by their relationship with hyped up games, because personally, I've found some of the most enjoyable games I've experienced from small developers that really focus on interesting, complex narratives and experiment with new ways to tell and share experiences through gaming. These can be seen in games such as Al-Qadim, The Genius Curse, Ravenloft, Strand's Possession, which were based on the popular D&D franchise and have gathered attention from fans of tabletop role-playing games from around the world. And also in games like Ghost Recon Commander, Gun Goddess, and Empire of Sin, which is the most recent game that she's worked on in 2022. Sorry, not 2022, 2020. She even recently received a BAFTA award for her contributions to RPG games and her steps towards promoting inclusivity and diversity in the workplace. The impact of her work extends beyond just commercial success of individual titles, and she herself is more focused on advancing the industry as a whole. Obviously, no highs come without lows, and she's faced her fair few challenges. So we think about the historical issues with diversity and inclusivity, specifically gender roles within the industry. She had challenges over time being taken seriously and often coming up against misogynistic ideas and behaviours within the workplace. And that was really what fueled her desire to overcome the challenges and advocate for change, which is still an ongoing effort. And while we might be able to see that, yes, there is significant changes present day compared to trying to break into the industries back in the 1980s, it's still a challenge. It's still uncomfortable. It is still male dominated, and really trying to focus on creating a space for women in this industry, it's needed. It's desperately needed. And I also think that while it's a really positive thing, that more and more organizations and companies are opening up to teach women how to code and develop and how to program and write narratives and do game art design for games, it is also a little bit upsetting that we have to create special programs specifically to get women into the industry. But if that's what it's take, then I'm all for it. Regardless, Brenda Romero's career has been marked by a dedication to her craft and a commitment to pushing boundaries in game design and storytelling. Her highs are a testament to her creativity and advocacy efforts, while her lows reflect the broader challenges and issues that persist in the gaming industry. And despite these challenges, she continues to make valuable contributions to the industry and promote positive changes. She's a highly respected and accomplished gaming developer. She's a role model for aspiring female developers. Her success and dedication to her craft shows that women can excel in traditionally male-dominated fields and that their contributions are valuable and significant. Brenda once said, "Gaming is such a powerful medium. It's a powerful tool for storytelling, and that is what we should be doing." I think whether you are young or just starting out, maybe dabbled in it a little bit or have no experience at all, if you have a passion for storytelling or gaming or art, if this is something that's ever been an interest to you, take Brenda as an example. It's not impossible. There are people out there fighting for women in the gaming industry, and there are heaps of places to start. I would check local organizations that are focused on teaching women coding, programming, game design, and narrative writing. Whether it be TAFE, private independent organizations, or university, the options are out there. And like Brenda, there are people out there that have your back. Women can thrive in the gaming industry. And hopefully that's what you take from this podcast today. Brenda is one step, one example of what can be done in the industry and the power that women have. The biggest barrier to entering the gaming industry is thinking that you can't do it. If you have a dream, go for it. Don't let anyone discourage you. And that's it for this episode of Girls in Gaming. We hope you join us again next week, but until then, GG everybody.